Hey everyone, hope you're doing good. Making a little video here of what the most important card of the tarot deck is. Now, this is left up to interpretation. This is my take on it in terms of studying the tarot. I'd also like to state that this is a very hermetic approach. And again, in one of my previous videos, one of the themes that play into this entire logical explanation has to do with the direction of flow. I go in the reverse order in terms of interpreting the tarot. So for example, most of the cards mean what they mean in the way that I read them. There is a couple different distinctions. The World card does not mean completion. The World card means formation. It also means natural law and knowing the law of the land. So whether that's literally knowing the law of Earth, knowing how gravity works on the most rudimentary level, right? Understanding fire burns you. Then you get on to deeper philosophical explanations into how the world that we live in works, right? It goes from simple to intricate. In this video, it's important to take into consideration I'm reading the tarot from starting at the World card 21 and coming back to the Magician. Now, if you are trying to use tarot in order to advance yourself in life, the number one card, and I'm not going to draw this out, the number one card that every single human has to get to in terms of attainment is the Chariot card. This card is the most important card to get to. And the reason why is, if you take a second and you look at this card, it is the only card which is completely enclosed. Okay? The only other card that's enclosed would be the World card, which symbolizes the womb. In the Hermetic tradition, we are born, I guess let's use the Fool card. We're born into the world. We pick up attributes along the way, but it's our physical birth, which is actually our first death, which is the spiritual death. We are then physically born, and now our job is to come through the experience of living in the hopes that we attain knowledge and wisdom and we advance our soul. So when it comes to the Chariot card, other than the World card, it's the only card that's completely enclosed. And we have to ask ourselves why that is. When we look at it, it's clear to me, right, between the stars and the moon on his outfit, that this person has mastered his internal universe. As above, so below. And so we are just a microcosmic version of the universe. And when we look at the Chariot card, it's very important to take into consideration where it falls. So if the Fool comes into existence through the world, as soon as we were born, and actually before we're born, we're even judged. Again, people are going to be saying it looks like a big baby, it looks like a small baby, the pregnancy, right? This kid kicks a lot. Once the kid's born, immediately the kid is judged. And then from there, he grows up from a little kid. We learn all these life lessons. The 4 virtues we must first learn. We have strength, wisdom, justice, and temperance, which are the 4 virtues. So if we started off down here and made our way to the world, it wouldn't make much sense that we're actually digressing in levels of skill and mastery than to arrive at the world. if you look at these cards, and we're going to focus on these cards right here, and I'm going to actually fold all these other ones up, because I just wanted to use these in the beginning as a visual demonstration and kind of, so before I wrap these up, right, look what's very important here. The Chariot, to me, is first an androgynous card, as well as the Magician and the Fool. Look what card, if we're moving in reverse, is just before the Chariot. It's the Strength card. And really, this infinity symbol is the number 8. And in Pythagorean logic, the number 8 was associated with love, because it's 2 circles that are connected together. And so you get the number 8. The number 8 means love. It's perfectly divisible all the way down to 1 and 1, which then is another reason why it brings us to it being the Justice card in different decks. So the last lesson that one must learn first is that love is the strongest force in the world. And to me, the Strength card is a gentle surrender. Yes, it could be fortitude, strength. It could be ferocious. You could use strength in that manner. But the strongest force in the universe is love. And that's what it takes to master our inner selves. And this is what the wisdom of the hermit is showing us, right? He leads us off the mountain with all the knowledge we need, but you must first have the strength, the internal strength, in order to reach a level of self-mastery. Now, one of the big things I want everyone to take into consideration here is that the Lover's card, right? The Chariot makes so much more sense coming before the Lover's card in this direction, because you want to become a completely self-reliant individual that's not going to fall prey to vice, that's not going to fall prey to ignorance, is going to have experience, is going to have mastered the inner self before getting involved in a relationship. Once you meet somebody that you fall in love with, then you go through, most of the times, not everybody, some type of institution. Whether it's a religious or government institution, or you go through some type of custom, some type of ceremony that's facilitated. So now these cards are starting to make sense and working into this direction. So this person has achieved self-mastery, and this is where we need to be at in our tarot journey, is we don't ever have to become an emperor, an empress, a high priestess, or a magician. We can, and we should strive for those. But we must first master our inner self, which is the most important thing. We cannot move on from there. So I am now going to remove the Hierophant and the Lover's card. The Hierophant really represents hierarchical structures, depending on what that is for where you're at. So for some people, if they're in religious communities, then it's the church. For other people, this Hierophant could just represent a corporate structure. You're going to have to understand how the corporate structure works, right? But you have to go through the institution, and you have to understand the customs before you could become a king. A king that doesn't understand the structures that underlie the kingdom he's in, right, is not a good king. For example, someone becomes a self-reliant person, fully embodied, good person. They meet somebody, they fall in love, they have a family. If you're trying to be the king of the household, right, which now you rightfully are within your own house, you can't do everything you want to do. You can't be a cold-blooded tyrant because your kids aren't going to learn. Your wife isn't going to respect you. There is a hierarchical structure of the household that you must understand. So when we're talking about the chariot, this is the most important place to get to. I would not, if you have control over it, get involved in a relationship. If you're single right now and you're working on yourself, fully become who you need to be. Be a good person that upholds justice. Be somebody that's hardworking. Be somebody that learns compassion and love, that has wisdom. Once you get these under your belt, then go into a relationship. It's going to be a lot easier. Now, the one thing I want to point out, we're going to get these cards, we're going to put them to the side. We're going to get the Hierophant and the Fool card and put them to the side. Like I said, to me, this is an androgynous being that represents masculine and feminine. This is masculine. This is feminine. This is feminine. This is, now for sake of continuity, this card to me, it kind of sways between androgynous and masculine. But I want to describe a progression to you guys that I'm going to get into further detail in another video. This is mastery of self. That's why it is marked by the Chariot. That's why it's one of the only cards that's fully contained, is because the Chariot is literally your flesh suit. It's the body that you are contained within, and you must master that. This series of cards is mastery of others, whether it's a household, whether it's a business, whether it's a community or a country. You're now going from mastering of self to helping others, mastery of others, okay? This is the physical plane. Eventually, when you become a fully transcended master of this world with all the experience and wisdom you've gained, and you're not going to fall prey to vice or ignorance, you now get into these higher orders of mastery, which are more spiritual, right? So you've mastered the body, you've mastered others, now you've mastered the world. When we're older and we pass away and we lived a nice, long, happy life, hopefully, we will have passed all the lessons this world has thrown at us. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. Nobody's batting 100 here, okay? We're all striving towards excellence. But I just wanted to drop this video, and I really wanted to hit home of the importance of the Chariot card. You have to get to this point in your journey as a human being. If you're a tarot practitioner, this is where you want to get to first. Then you want to work on finding the love of your life, starting your own little kingdom with your family, then moving on to higher orders of mastery that go beyond the physical realm. There's really not much else to say. Throughout the readings that I do in the future here, like I stated in the very beginning of the video, I use the cards from the World card, working my way down to the Magician, rather than the other way around. So, if that's not how you read the tarot, that's fine. We're at a disagreement. But I just wanted to elaborate on that in case there was a little confusion on why I'm making the decisions that I am. But again, check out all the cards in the Rider-Waite-Smith. The only other card that's fully enclosed is the World card, and that makes sense because we are in the womb and we are being born into this world to be judged, and from there our journey begins, ladies and gentlemen. Let's all become well-embodied beings that are then able to help serve this world. I'm going to leave it there. I wish everybody the best and have a wonderful day or night. Thank you.